Turn your mic back on.
Got like this.
It did?
All right. Call the September 19th, 2022 meeting of the Mayor and City Council Lincoln Park to order. If everyone would please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag, which would be immediately followed by a moment of silence for those that have lost loved ones in our community.
You know this a bit.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
As we do so, join in with the United Kingdom and the loss of their Queen, Queen Elizabeth. Thank you all. We can have roll call, please.
Councilpersons Dupre. Here. Higgins.
Here.
Kelsey.
Here.
Ross. Here. Salcido.
Here.
Tobin is absent. And Mayor Carnes.
Here. Well, good evening, everyone. Just a few short hours ago, had the privilege of swearing in a new officer for the police department, Noah Anderson. We've lost officers to Woodhaven and other surrounding communities. This young man came to us from Detroit. He had just started his career with Detroit, and now he is with us, which is a very nice young man. And from what I hear from the chief, that we have through the program that we started with them to pay for them in the academy. We have 3 that will be coming out soon. And then there's another potential 2 that they're looking at to put them through the academy. And all said and done, we'd be close to being at full force for the police department. So it has been a long time since that happened. Some people, residents, had their water tested. This goes back as part of the program that as we check to see how the lead lines are and if there's copper in the water and such. I just got the results from my water back, and it's definitely has lead in it. And that is probably no surprise to some. All right, we'll get that out of the way. But what I'm saying with this is that those lead lines are on our radar. These are things that we are going to take care of as soon as possible. We had another meet, I think it was last week, to talk about water loss, but in the end, when we repair the water lines, do whatever, replacing the lead lines for residents are a priority for us. So we just wanted everyone to know that that is a priority. And I see in the audience that we have Jeff Day, the curator of the Lincoln Park Historical Museum. There's going to be a centennial event. It's really almost 101 years as a village, but there'll be a celebration on October 1st at 6:30 p.m. cafeteria at the high school. And Jeff, instead of me talking about it,
All right.
why don't I have you do
Got a
that?
few things prepared. Great. Good evening. Thank you. We're definitely looking forward to Saturday, October 1st, when the Lincoln Park community will celebrate its centennial, its first centennial, plus 1 anniversary. Just a year delayed due to the pandemic, but it's a relief that we can finally get back together again indoors and under one roof. The centennial anniversary is, in fact, a milestone that deserves special commemoration and celebration. We always celebrate the lives of those we know who reach 100 years of life, and rightfully so. And so why not the life of our community? The event on October 1st is an evening reception when we can come together for catered food and beverages, live music, for visits with our neighbors and friends, to take time together for special honors and recognitions, and perhaps even learn a little bit about the early Lincoln Park community of 100 years ago. The event is open to the public, and reservations are being accepted through Monday, September 26th, which is a week from today. The reception, as the mayor mentioned, is held at the Lincoln Park High School cafeteria. It will open that evening, October 1st at 6:30. The cost is $12 per person. Payments can be made online at the museum website, which is lphistorical.org. Under the events menu, you can access the Centennial Anniversary event page, and then scroll down, and there's a spot where you can link to make a payment there. Checks and cash are also accepted, of course, at the museum on Wednesday and Saturday from 1 to 6, or you can mail in your reservation information to Lincoln Park Historical Society, 1335 Southfield Road, Lincoln Park, 48146. Just prior to the evening event on October 1st is a 5 o'clock film showing in the auditorium of the high school. That will be the 1921 silent film of Charlie Chaplin's The Kid. The film is free to attend and no reservations are necessary. The film will let out about 6 o'clock. I'd like to take just a moment to share something, a show and tell, if I could. And this is just a sample of one of the pictures that we're going to have on display and in our video. This is a photograph of the central part of Lincoln Park, downtown Lincoln Park, if you will, at about 1923-24. This is just a few years after we became a village and just about a year before we became a city. This shows the growth of Lincoln Park. If you think back to 1921 when we were a village, there wasn't very much development on 4th Street yet. This is 4th Street looking north from what is now Southfield Road, right around 1924. So it shows you the incredible advancements that were taken just in a few years. We have several more early photos and images like these stretching over several decades that will help to tell the Lincoln Park story in a presentation that evening. We hope that you can join Mayor Carnes, the City Council, and many other government officials in helping to celebrate our community's long heritage. Thank you.
Jeff, you're reaching out to past mayors, past council,
We are certainly trying to, yeah.
to get, so if there are those of you that are out there that have served on a council or a commission or something, we'd be glad to see you there.
Yes, and families of former mayors. We've been trying to contact those as well. So if you know of anybody who is related, still in the area perhaps, to former mayors, that would be a great help too. Yeah, thank you.
Jeff, there has been one request to have that picture of Pat Paulson included in the program as the only person that has declared their candidacy for presidency in Lincoln Park.
Okay, I'm happy to do that. Yeah, if I could get a nice digital scan of that, then I can certainly I can work on that. Thank you for the reminder. Yeah. Great, thank you.
Thank you. A lot of work has gone into that, a lot of preparation.
Yeah, it's been a lot of preparation. We still have 2 weeks, about.
And it should be a nice time.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And the forms are available downstairs in the hallway here at City Hall.
And if you're feeling to where you want to support more, there you can place a half page in their program for $100. And with that $100, you get 2 free tickets to the event. So, and with that, we will move on to the consent agenda. Resolved that the following items listed on the consent agenda be approved as presented to the mayor and city council. 1, approved minutes, regular meeting held September 6, 2022. 2, scheduled special meeting, closed session, pending litigation. 3, approved small business grant.
I'll move. Support.
Okay.
Your Honor, there was a typo on 1. I brought it to the attention of the clerk.
Yep.
They have one date for the meeting and one another for the on the agenda.
19th.
Right, he corrected it to the 6th when he read it.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I didn't realize he did.
Okay. Clerk call the roll.
Councilpersons Ross? Yes. Dupre?
Yes.
Higgins?
Yes.
Kelsey?
Yes.
Salcido?
Yes.
And Mayor Carnes.
Yes. And with this, there was notice of the CDBG CARES Act. There still is some funds available, not a tremendous amount, but if you are a business in Lincoln Park and were from 2020, 2021, this is something that you should look into if you remained open during those times. Okay, and now we will call a public hearing to order, Ari Capers. And we have CDBG Coordinator Joan Craig.
Good evening. I am here to give an overview of the Consolidated Annual Performance and Evaluation Report, also known as CAPER. It details the Community Development Block Grant activity for fiscal year 2021 through 2022. The draft version of the CAPER is available on the city website, and hard copies will be made available also at the city clerk's office, library, community center, and in the Office of Community Planning and Development. HUD allocates CDBG funds to the city annually as an entitlement community, and we encourage citizen participation through public hearings such as this. And we encourage public service agencies and department heads to submit funding requests for services that benefit low to moderate income residents within the city. Each request is then evaluated by the Office of Community Planning and Development, as well as the CIC Committee, to ensure that eligibility of the request is consistent with the goals outlined in our 5-year plan. Once those funding recommendations are made to Mayor and City Council, a resolution is passed, and from that, our annual action plan is developed. And that is our template for how we disperse our funds. Last year, $1,566,029.17 was expended on eligible CDBG activities during the 21-22 program year. The amount was higher than the last 2 years due to businesses getting back to a new normal after the COVID pandemic. Part of this funding was utilized from unexpended funds from prior years and income from repayments on residential rehab loans. Of that $1,566,000, $38,017.95 went to help subsidize nonprofit agencies and city programs to aid low to moderate income individuals and households within the city. The public services included community policing, crime awareness programs, mental health counseling services through First Step and the Guidance Center, and also programming through the Senior Alliance. $127,404.62 helped individual qualified homeowners directly through the following programs. Our residential rehab loan fund awarded 4 loans. 5 homeowners utilized our sewer lead rehab and replacement fund. And we also dispersed $85,065.53 through our housing stock improvement program. And those expenses included rehabilitation of a home that we purchased through the Wayne County First Right of Refusal program, and also the salary for the rehab clerk. $26,897.58 was spent on code enforcement and contractors to remediate exterior blight within the city. $41,830 was spent to demolish 3 dangerous homes. $36,048 helped to make our community center ADA compliant, making it more enjoyable for residents that have a disability. We invested $61,245.50 in our low to moderate income neighborhood parks. That investment included a new playscape at Memorial Park, fixing of concrete pads at YCP Pavilion, and mulch being added to existing playscapes throughout neighborhood parks. $986,988.03 went to streets and utility projects along Ferris Street. Of that amount, $389,260.03 of the funding came from 2019 and 2020 funding grants. Lastly, $162,531.96 was spent on administration and planning activities to operate the CDBG program through the Community Planning and Development Office. In 2020, the City of Lincoln Park was also awarded CDBG COVID funding in the amount of $655,442. And that was to help prevent, prepare for, and respond to the spread of COVID-19. We distributed this year an additional $122,316.57. A total of $70,000 of that was for small business grants, awarded to 4 different small businesses in the city. And we also distributed, we have $35,000 remaining in that small business grant fund. Also, we spent $16,524.14 for touchless water bottle filling stations at the Senior Center, Band Shell, and Community Center. Also from that COVID fund was we spent $35,792.43 to help Blessed Hope Food Bank stock their shelves with essential food for our residents struggling to meet their basic needs. A total of $417,359.47 of that funding has been expended so far, leaving us a balance of $238,082.53. Of this, $178,712 is earmarked for broadband, and the remaining $24,370.53 is budgeted for planning and administrative services. All of these activities improve the ability and accessibility of housing and services for low to moderate income persons, improves the affordability of housing and services to enhance the sustainability of our neighborhoods. The CAPER addresses progress achieved in attaining our goals and meeting our priorities. There's a 15-day public comment period, which will end on Thursday, September 29th at 4 p.m. All residents, property owners, persons with disabilities, immigrants, seniors, low-income, children and youth, homeless persons, and other stakeholders of the City of Lincoln Park are encouraged to submit any written comments or questions regarding the CAPER to myself at the Community Planning and Development Department, 1355 Southfield Road, Lincoln Park, Michigan, 48146. Or you can email me at jgreg, G-R-E-I-G, at citylp.com. That's it.
Okay.
Any questions?
Anything from council?
Thank you.
And we'll open it up for public comment, if there's anyone from the public wishing to speak on CAPERS. Okay, so at this point, seeing no one approaching, we'll adjourn the meeting at 7:49. Sure. Thank you, Joe. Appreciate that. Now move to the action items. First item has a cover letter from Lisa Griggs, our Director of Finance and Operations. Enclosed, please find the resolution authorizing the issuance of unlimited general obligation bonds for your consideration. The resolution authorizes the second issuance of road improvement bonds in the amount of $6,900,000. As you recall, the project was authorized in 2013, and the first bond issuance was approved and sold in 2019. The funds from the first series were allocated in the amount of $6,700,000 and funded various road projects throughout the city. Now that those funds have been exhausted, it's time to allocate the second series to fund road projects over the next couple of years. With the help of Miller, Canfield, and Benzinski and Company, the city will move forward, negotiate the sale of the bonds after approval of this resolution. Resolved that the mayor and council hereby adopt a resolution to authorize 2022 unlimited general obligation bonds for the second series of road improvement bonds in an amount not to exceed $6,900,000 by reference only, complete wording of this resolution having been posted conspicuously for 72 hours.
So move.
Support.
Okay, discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Councilpersons Higgins?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Dupre?
Yes.
Kelsey?
Yes.
Salcido?
Yes.
And Mayor Carnes.
Yes. Next item has a cover letter from Ashley McKincheck, City Manager Coordinator. On September 15, 2022, the city solicited bids for the removal and replacement of the windows at Lincoln Park City Hall. Bid requested 2 quotes from prospective contractors. The first quote was for standard removal and replacement of windows, and the second quote was for the removal of windows and replacing the windows using historical recreation products. Yonker Window and Door and Regal Construction Incorporated submitted bids for the window removal and replacement bid. The cost for a standard removal and replacement using traditional vinyl windows ranges from $52,000 to $96,000. The cost for the removal and historical recreation ranges from $108,000 to $112,000. Pricing sheets for both bidders are included. Mayor and council shall decide the direction to proceed.
So whether,
Okay.
the question is whether you guys wish to go with the standard remove and replace or with the historical recreations.
Yes, but in order to discuss, we need a resolution. Okay, so first, Yonker Window and Door, their standard for the windows was $96,600. Historical recreation, $108,900. For Regal Construction Incorporated, the standard is $51,226.93. Historical recreation is $112,223.16. So to begin, be resolved that Mayor and Council hereby award the window removal and replacement contract to Regal Construction Incorporated for standard removal and replacement for $51,226.93.
I'll move for discussion.
I'll support for discussion.
Through the chair.
Okay, we'll open it up for discussion. I'm going to just say a word on this. We're talking a substantial amount, which is double the price. I don't know how long we're going to stay in this building, but this is the same discussion that was used, what was the name of the project that we had several years ago under Duchesne? We redid all the buildings, made them efficient, energy efficient.
The remote, yeah.
And the windows were left off at that time because we were going to do them. That's 15 years ago, so, well, I don't know. Councilwoman Dupre, I think you had...
I was going to ask, was there any samples or anything? Did anybody see the windows?
We've started to get pictures. I was asked late in the week to see if I could get some pictures. We started to get some earlier today from, I think it was DeYonker.
And they're both going vinyl. I thought I read something about not doing vinyl in the original paperwork.
So, I believe, from what I'm reading, the material itself is vinyl, but with an exterior dark bronze color from DeYonker. There's no real specification from Regal as to their vinyl, as to what it would look like.
And are these residential windows or are these commercial windows?
According to the companies, they can be used in both.
Okay. Thank you.
Through the chair,
Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
I wanted to point out that Regal Construction's bid shows a lifetime warranty on all the windows, with a 10-year workmanship warranty also on all the windows. I don't see any warranty on the other.
Yeah, we were able to follow up and get, for DeYonker, they'll give a 1-year labor warranty and typically a 20-year on the materials based on manufacturer.
I think given just the warranty alone, I like the Regal Construction, to be honest.
Through the chair, Your Honor, since we have silence here.
Yes, go ahead.
What was the budget impact on this? Well, this is the American Rescue Plan was going to pay for this, right?
Yeah, it's
And if
an
I'm not
ARPA
mistaken,
project.
Yes, we had a meeting maybe a month ago where Leslie Lynch Wilson came up and spoke and requested that we check into the historical windows, right? So I'm all in favor of DeYonker doing the historical windows. You say they have a 1-year guarantee. If I'm not
Right.
mistaken, in 2019, we got estimates for windows and we never got them. So whether in this building for the next 20 years or next 3 years, I would like to go with the debunker, so that's all I have right now.
Leslie, you've done some work on, why don't you give a little insight on the windows?
Yeah, I looked at both information that was in your packets, because the DeYonker windows is an Anderson window, and Anderson windows, I know, is known in the industry for having one of the best warranties, only because I grew up in a house that had Anderson windows. My mom was an architect, and I always talked highly about Anderson windows. My husband grew up in a house that had Anderson windows too. Whether that's changed, I don't know, but that's what I've always heard. The Anderson window is a vinyl-clad window. It's vinyl over wood, and it's the 400 series, and I called Anderson, and they said that it's often used in commercial projects. It's the historical recreation is, basically these windows are double-hung windows. A double-hung window is just a simple double-hung window. I'm not exactly certain what the standard window that's being quoted is. That something that would not open, would not be double-hung? Is that what the standard is?
Supposed to open.
It's supposed to open? So the standard window is also a double-hung? Is that what you're saying?
Sounds like it, yeah.
Oh, okay. So basically, they're pretty much the same, so I don't really know in their quotes what's the difference between what they're calling a historical recreation and the standard, because a plain old double-hung window is not divided into lights as a pretty standard window. I looked at the Regal Constructions bid, and this sort of scared me to death because it doesn't tell you what kind of vinyl window. There's no listing, where is this window manufactured. There's no website or Facebook page for this company, very little information online. Are these custom windows? Who's making it? Is Regal Construction, sounds like it's a construction company. The other window that Anderson has that's used a lot in commercials called the E-Series, and it seems like the only difference is that it's an aluminum-clad window, aluminum over wood, versus the 400 series that DeYonker quoted is vinyl-clad window. And looking at the information on it, it looks like a very nice window. Anything else you'd like to know?
No, thank you. Do we have any, has anyone done any research on these two companies at all? Do you know?
We've checked some references. We haven't gotten anything back from the references on DeYonker, but we did look into Regal, and the reference we got back from them was, I believe, Clinton Township. They gave glowing remarks for a project they did at windows at 3 different buildings.
Through the chair, Your Honor?
Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
I just want to point out, too, that the DeYonker quote says that their wood interior is unfinished. So does that leave work for us?
Yeah, it would.
Right?
Probably to stain and matching paneling or paint, depending on what, because if they had the mayor's office that has the paneling around there, if you go into the building, it has different things, so. I mean, it actually would be better for us to do that, unless it's just gonna be white, you know?
Right.
I would guess. But we don't know what these
We
look
don't
like,
know what they look like. I'm sorry.
right? I mean, we don't.
True.
Okay. It's kind of hard not knowing.
We can postpone.
Yeah, so that's, what I would recommend is we need to have a little bit more information of what they look like.
I'd make a motion to table this until we can get either good pictures or the actual window that we're going to be having installed. So if Regal and DeYonker want to provide us with samples, I know it's getting crunch time to do windows, but I'm in favor of tabling it for 2 more weeks and hopefully get some more information.
So moving it forward for the next meeting, it would be
For the
the
third.
October 3rd? The October 3rd meeting. Because that's your resolution.
I support.
Okay, support. Is there, do we have discussion on that, or that's just, no, that's just a, well, okay, the clerk call the roll.
Councilperson Salcido?
Yes.
Dupre?
Yes.
Higgins?
Yes.
Kelsey?
Yes.
Ross? Yes. And Mayor Carnes?
Yes. I think it's just, there's a big price differential, we just gotta get it right. That's the only thing. All right, so, the next item has a cover letter from Raymond Parker, project manager, Hennessy Engineers. Hennessy Engineers Incorporated has prepared 2 plan options for review and approval for the proposed animal shelter and authorization to solicit bids for the new facility per city council approval. Plan 1 is for phase 1 and 2 with a square footage of 4,375 square feet. Plan 2, option 2 is for a modified phase 1 plan including a cat room with a total of 3,325 square feet. So the resolution is that resolved that mayor and council approve the plans for the animal shelter phase 2 as presented by Hennessy Engineers Incorporated and hereby solicit bids for the project.
So move for discussion.
Support.
So we're not choosing which option.
That was the original intent, was to give you the option of looking at just doing phase 2, which was brought up the last council meeting, or to look at the modified phase, or plan option 2, which is a modified phase 1 that gets you the cat room without going to the extra square footage for phase 1 and 2 together. The adding phase 2 to the phase 1 plan you'll end up having 46 kennels and room for 60 cats. It's also 4,375 square feet with a price tag estimated about 1.1 million. The modified plan is only 3,325 square feet, has room for 24 kennels, 3 isolation kennels, and a washing stall to be able to wash a dog down, and still has room for 36 cats. So it's only adding 225 square feet to the initial phase 1, but getting you a cat room as well. It's just cutting, it depends on how many dogs you want to be able to house at once. if 24 is enough, or do we need to take it to adding phase 2 to bump to 46, which is a lot of kennels?
Well, it is, but I think that part of the plan was for them to take in animals from surrounding communities
Understand.
also, to try to get some of the cash back. Chief Waters, so you can come up for a minute? What's your feelings on this, sir?
I do believe that the new plan could work for us, that it would give us enough kennels to, even if we shared with one other city, we would have enough.
So you're good with
The new plan, yeah,
the new plan?
yeah.
Adding phase 2 completely? Okay.
Okay, for discussion?
Chair?
Yeah.
Councilman, go ahead.
Just a question. When I'm looking at the proposed Phase 1 and 2 with the cat room, there are areas for doors, but in the back by the cat room, being that the cat room is in the back and everything else is in the front, is there a way that we can have, by appointment, because that's how they do appointments, have someone at the back door for the cat room if somebody wants to see the cats, instead of bringing cats up all the visitors, all the dogs to the visitors?
Well, that would be an operational thing that we could work out once we get everything going, yeah.
Well, the only thing is there's no room, like space put in there for that, for like meeting the cats.
Well, that's what the 2 adoption rooms up front are for. You
Right.
would come into the adoption room, and the handler would then bring the cat into the adoption room.
To the chair, I think the situation is because you'd have to remove the cat through all the kennels so that, you would see the dog. I think what we would like to see, or what the councilman is thinking too, because we kind of discussed it, a door in the back where a person could walk in, look at the cats through a public door, rather than just having an exit door back there. Would that be a huge issue?
No, we could add a 3-foot man door with a vision panel in the door.
Yeah, I'm just thinking because walking the cats past all those dogs, we've discussed that before, where that would be an issue,
Okay.
Question to the chair, if I may.
Go ahead.
So are you saying that there'll be an outside door where the cats are at, right, in the back?
Correct.
With a window, lack of a word? Or are you talking about the fact that there'll be a door, but you can open that door and come into a waiting area or something and look at the cats?
No, there wouldn't be room for a vestibule to create a double door situation like that. It would be a door with usually it's a 6 by 18 rectangular window cut out in the door.
Okay.
So the person from the inside or outside, they could, unless you want to do an intercom system or a Ring doorbell or something like that, to where it can be monitored inside.
We have to let them work that out.
Well, I was just, through the chair, just curious, because now you're adding a different dynamic to it, because if someone's going to adopt a cat, are they going to look through all the cats by themselves, or have somebody with them, or take the cat out, see if it's friendly? I mean, it's like dogs. Usually they adopt them, but they ask and they take them so they're comfortable with the owner or the adoptee, so you don't have any problems when you get home and take it back.
And that's typically what the adoption rooms are set up for.
But they're in the front, right?
Right.
So that issue doesn't exist. The door would only allow somebody going in and looking around, am I correct? At the
Correct.
cages?
Correct.
Okay.
And the way these are set up right now, the proposal was to do, there are 12 cats in a kennel that are almost 8 feet long, and there's 12 cages in a bank, and you would have five banks of 12 in there, so you'd have room for 60 cats. But again, that's quite a few cats in a small space as well, so. The only other thing we could, I hate to do this, but, I mean, if we approved adding phase 2, I could look at modifying the interior design so that it could still utilize the adoption rooms by moving the cats forward. Kind of like, I think you have the plans in your packet. In the modified option 1, the cat room is right next to the adoption rooms. If I just pushed everything else back, moving the kitchen, the break room, and the mechanical room, the laundry room further back, I can incorporate a larger cat room in the front to where it would work with the adoption rooms.
And you, through the chair, if I may, could you still use that for the dogs then, too?
Yes.
So that wouldn't be any mix or looking at each other?
There's actually, because there's 2 doors that come into that cat room, they could actually be walked through the hallway of the operations part and brought into the adoption rooms and not have to walk past any
Not have
dogs.
to walk past. Okay, thank you.
Through the chair. Thank you. Chief, we have 16 kennels right now,
Correct.
right? That, the option, our first additional, I'm sorry, our first option with the additional cat room, okay? To me, seems like it's almost perfect. Because if we have 16 kennels now, this option gives us 24 kennels and the cat room, which, if I'm reading this right, it's 36 cats, for 36 cats, right?
Yes.
Right now, we have, is it 2 part-timers working?
Correct. 2 part-time, 1 full-time.
So what can we expect as far as additional employees for
We will
for the
most likely,
setup?
we will have to hire more people because if we take in cats. It'll cost us, it'll be a considerable amount of money that we're going to have to pay out more
And
to
if we
upkeep
went,
cats.
right, and if we went with the option of the proposal with the Phase 1 and Phase 2, what are we looking at as far as employees? Because now we've doubled, we're looking at 40, what did you say, 46? 46 kennels and 60 cats. Seems a little extreme.
So the more cats you bring in, the more you're going to need on hand. And the more money it's going to cost. Every cat you bring in, you're going to have to make sure that they're taken care of right away with vaccines, because they do spread disease very quickly. It's not like taking in a dog. They spread very quickly, sicknesses. So we have to get them vaccinated very quickly once we bring them in. So it will be a very big cost for the city.
And our 16 kennels has been sufficient.
Yes.
So if we went with the one with the 24 kennels, I mean, I suppose if another city needed assistance, we've got 8 additional kennels.
Correct.
But I stop and I think of the issues that we had when we were, what's the good word, renting space at other
Right.
animal shelters, in which did not work out.
Did not.
Did not. But I know that we're having trouble hiring, and I feel like Phase 1 with Phase 2 together, it's too extreme, and it's going to call for too many employees. If our amended option works for us, I think that's honestly the way to go. And I see in that option where every kennel has its own run.
This is the new one.
In your Phase 1 and Phase 2, there are actually 12 kennels with no runs.
They back up to each other.
Yeah.
You just have to push a dog. So you basically push a dog from one kennel to the one behind it if it's available to be able to clean out the kennel in front of it.
Yeah.
That's the only problem with an interior setup. Now, again, that could be modified, like I said, moving the cat room. It all depends on square footage, cost. I can make any plan work. It's just the number of animals, employees, costs associated with it is what dictates the design and the function of it.
Let's not forget, though, either that we're in a neighborhood. There are houses, there. To go with Phase 1 with Phase 2 and have 46 kennels I think that's a bit extreme. I looked at it, I looked at it again and looked at it, and I'm like, that just seems like just too much.
If I can make one more point also, on the modified Phase 1, the existing kennel that's there would not have to be removed prior to construction. Doing Phase 1 and Phase 2 right away, that would have to be gone before you could actually occupy the building. Based on the location from the edge, basically, there's a dashed line that runs right through the outdoor kennel runs on the backside, so the only thing would have to wait is the fencing could go up after the animals are moved into the building. It's a week delay on 4 kennel runs.
Well, remind me, what was it that we approved 2 weeks ago? Was it
Phase 1.
phase 1? The Chief, you're a no-kill shelter, is that right?
We do put animals down, but it's in certain circumstances, yeah. We just don't put them down because we keep them, but yeah.
But
Animals
for the
do
most
put-
part, you hang on to animals for...
Correct.
Because then, if you go back to the 80s, it was, the animals were there for 5 days and they were put down.
At tops, yeah.
If nobody came in. So
Correct.
That's not where we're at. I mean, I think
That's
that's
not
a
where
good
we're at
thing.
anymore.
That's a good thing, but with this, you need the room to, if we're going to keep animals longer, then obviously we need to have more space for them.
Right now, we have 7 dogs at the shelter. So, roughly we bring in between 12 to 15 a month. But we're able to find owners, adopt out, give to other transfers for, for usually 9 to 10 of those or more.
So the plan was that phase 2, which is what we're to be looking at this week, right? Was to include the cat room at that point. And it would be after the original place was torn down, right?
Correct.
Okay. All right, I got you.
Question to the chair, if I may.
Go ahead, sir.
We're looking at a substantial cost increase because obviously the building's going to be bigger than we have, and we have 2 part-time, and cats are going to be there, and nobody takes cats in around here, so we'll be getting cats in our neighborhoods, plus somebody else's cats or whatever, because they'll try to have them come to our kennel because we got cats. How are we going to budget that, Chief? I mean, where's that, do you have any idea what the budget would be for either one of those plans, or? No, okay, so, and
I could
obviously...
just say it's going to be a considerable difference than
Yeah.
what we have, because we're not taking any in right now.
Right. Because I know we talked as a council that we would do a good job with building it, but also the fact it wouldn't be a, for lack of a better term, a white elephant, where we couldn't do what we're supposed to do with it, and that defeats the whole purpose of spending the money for it.
Right.
So, there's got to be some kind of cost estimate done by management, I think, because I'm reluctant to go with the bigger one, only because how are we going to, what's the cost, where's the money coming from? We don't charge a fee for boarding, right? We just charge a fee when they go out, right? Or how's that
There's a
work?
daily fee,
Okay, who do we charge that to?
the owners of the animals.
If there's no owner and somebody just adopts it, do we just charge an adoption fee or something?
Correct.
So it could be, okay, so the same thing with a cat, right?
Correct.
Okay.
But if you
So-
look at some of the other cities, no one's adopting cats.
That's why I was asking it, because I know what's going to happen in the real world, and you know too.
We'll load up and we'll be full.
Yeah,
We're
we'll be
just
full
gonna take care
before
of
we
it.
even take the ones in from the city.
Right.
And the other thing is that we'd have to have the workers to be able to take care of the dogs and the cats, and make sure the cats are taken care of just like the dogs. Make sure they have their shots and they're fed and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And, and the fact of it is, if we don't know where the money's coming, I got a problem. I mean, I love the building, but I also can't buy the Mercedes if I can't put gas in it. I mean, that's my analogy. I mean, we need to have some kind of a cost estimate. I mean, I hate to delay this, but unless you're going to figure out where the money's going to come when that building's done and how you're going to staff it, that's not going to be any good. And we haven't done that yet. So I would suggest that management give us some figures to look at. They won't be perfect, but some kind of idea with what's going to take to do this. And even though workers are hard to get, eventually we'll get workers. It's just a matter of the fact that we got to have the money to pay them and actually be able to staff it. So, I mean, that's my opinion anyway. So I hate to say it, but I'd like to do what we've always done is kick the can down the road and put it in the back, but unless you got money allocated, or gonna have money allocated, and you have an idea what your workers are gonna be, how many you, full-time, part-time, whatever, you know, I don't see, you know, going forward with it.
Through the chair,
But that's me.
if I mind, Larry.
Yeah, go ahead.
City manager, how long, could by the next meeting, you give us how much it would cost to staff this new building? Well, either building.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could certainly have something done there quickly.
I was kind of putting the cart before the horse, I think. You know, we've been hashing this out and then putting it down, and we're really not going to know until the time that we have this. We look at what our current staff levels are and how things are working to whether we're going to need to have more people or not. Because until this gets built, whatever way that we plan on doing, until it gets built and we see it and see how its operations goes, we're not going to know entirely what it is that we need. We can have ideas. Well, we're going to have cats, so we got to have a couple more of these people, but in reality, we may not, depending on how things work out. Well, I don't like the idea of pushing this further away.
Through the chair, if I may. The only problem is, and I understand what you're saying, and I'm frustrated too, but if we don't have the money to pay for it, the next council is going to have to decide how, because it'll be built by next year, and the next council is going to have to find some money someplace. The ARPA funds are going to be gone, the COVID funds are going to be gone, all those funds are going to be gone, so it'll have to come out of the operational budget. That's only my concern. I don't have a problem with the plans either way, but my point of it is, and I've always seen this happen, we get something and we never turn around and put the people in for it. And I don't want to have a nice place, have a problem right from the get-go. It's going to be a nice, whichever way we go, it's going to be nice. People are going to, and maybe down the road we can partner with somebody if we have extra space. I don't know.
Well, I think you could, just because you have the space doesn't necessarily mean you have to fill it either.
Right.
So if you know that we're manned to keep, you know, the same amount of dogs we normally keep, and we're not going up in dogs, but we know we're manned to keep 20 cats, then we keep 20 cats until we can gradually build up. That's just something, I mean, just because we have the space doesn't mean we have to fill it either.
Right.
So, I mean, it's just an option to go with that.
Well, I'm just, right now we have no money.
Operational, you can just, you know.
We got through the
what you
chair.
have.
We just got 2 part-time workers, right? For the
Two part-time,
for the
one
20
full-time.
or 12 kennels?
But we have 16 dogs.
16. Okay. All right. Thank you.
I mean, like I said, you could just because you have the space doesn't mean you're
Right.
paying to get them all filled every single.
At the last meeting, we approved Phase 1 to move ahead. It was at this meeting that we were deciding whether or not we were going to add Phase 2. And it was at the recommendation of council to have these plans done by this meeting, correct?
Correct.
All right. And so the current thing, the resolution that we have, is to add the second phase with the original first phase and then the second one. Right? And that one would be to, remind me again, what that one would do.
That would be the 4,375 square feet with 46 kennels and 60 cats.
And 60 cats. Okay. So that's what we would be voting on if we decided to move forward on with that.
Correct.
And the other option that you were discussing is a modified one, which would change the resolution that we passed 2 weeks ago.
Correct.
All right. So as it stands, what we have is Phase 2 that has been up for discussion right now. That's our current resolution. All right. So further from council?
Through the chair, I want to make sure I understand this. The one with the cat room in the back, that is 24 kennels and 36 cats? Or was that the 40, that's not the 46?
That's 46 dogs and 60 cats with the cat room in the
60,
far back.
okay, and then the other one is the 24 and the 36. Okay, thank you.
But basically, the modified plan is not up for discussion
Right.
based on the previous resolution.
You have the previous resolution, and then, because it was, they voted last time to do, not to modify your original plan, if I recall. I think that's what happened. And then they asked for a second phase to accommodate for a cat house.
Correct.
And this is the resolution that we're voting on right now, or that is up for discussion right now. You've put forward a modified Phase 1, and then modified Phase 1 would eliminate the second phase?
No, we could still add Phase 2 to that,
Okay.
but I don't want to confuse things any more than it.
No, but what we're voting on now, or what we're discussing right now, is the
Phase 2.
Phase 2 alone, which would include the cat house, and there would not be a cat house in Phase 1.
Correct.
So that's basically what we're discussing right now. And so that would be what would be up for vote.
Through the chair, Your Honor, I'm sorry, but can we go back to the last meeting when we approved Phase 1? I know that, I believe it was Councilwoman Tobin who brought up the whole cats, right? And I believe, Mr. Parker, that you said that you could add the cat room to that, right? And so
As
you
part of
gave
Phase-
us the drawing this time, right?
Right, but based on what I recall, the resolution last time was to provide a Phase 2, which was the base design. We had the whole building design before, and we cut it down into 2 phases. Phase 1, as it was accepted last time, did not include the cat room. Phase 2 was the addition of the cat room and additional kennel spaces, and that's what was asked. I think
Okay.
I confused matters by adding the modified plan to it. I just, when I was looking at the design, thought I could create a better layout, but
I like it, I do, thank you. I'm glad you did it.
Okay, further discussion? Clerk, call the roll on this.
Councilpersons Kelsey,
Yes.
Higgins,
yes.
Dupre,
Yes.
Ross,
No.
Salcido,
Yes.
and Mayor Carnes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen. We have cover letter from James Kazan, City Manager. On July 19, 2021, a study session was held to discuss the city's allocation of American Recovery Plan funds. Over the 2 years of disbursement, the city will receive $19.1 million. The Phase 1 allocation provides $1.48 million in revenue replacement programs and allocates the first $11 million in infrastructure upgrades. A total of $12.48 million of the awarded $19.1 million was allocated in this first phase. The second phase of allocation ARPA funds is proposed to continue our trend of funding revenue replacement projects and infrastructure, specifically water. Some of the proposed projects are simply adding additional funding for the first phase projects, animal shelter, PD upgrades, and some are for long overdue capital improvements. This phase allocates most of the rest of the funds provided to the city, totaling $6.1 million. So then PD upgrades added the original estimated $175,000. Animal shelter added the original estimated $750,000. Pressure relief valves, $500,000. Fire department apron, $124,000. DPS parking lot, $120,000. Water main replacements for 2023 and 2024 projects, $5 million. All projects will follow the city's purchasing policies and will be meticulously accounted for as part of our reporting for the ARPA funds. As an aside, a short report giving an update on the various projects previously allocated is attached. So, be it resolved, the mayor and city council hereby approve Phase 2 of the City of Lincoln Park's ARPA plan and allocates the following amounts to be spent on the presented projects. $1,669,000 revenue replacement projects, $5 million infrastructure upgrades. Be it further resolved that all city purchase policies will be followed and any changes in the presented plan must be approved by mayor and council.
So move.
Support.
Okay, discussion?
Question through the chair. Are we going to be able to see the issue with the zoning ordinance redone before we actually vote on it? It says here they're going to bring the contractors to come through the area now, but I don't even know which zoning ordinances we're modifying.
This was an entire zoning ordinance rewrite.
Yeah, but I don't know what I'm saying, so you did the entire one?
They're not done with it at all.
Oh,
They
okay.
haven't started the actual
All
rewrite.
right.
What they've done is, they're calling it a code audit. They've gone
Yeah.
through and annotated our current zoning code, and then they're essentially coming this week to come take a look at the city and see the zoning code in action. So they haven't
Okay. They haven't
done
done nothing
anything
yet.
as far as the actual rewrite goes yet.
Well, through the chair to the city manager, how's this going to affect the 5-year plan we just passed not too long ago?
The intention is that this is going to support the 5-year the master plan.
So it won't, the master plan will still be in effect?
Oh,
This will just-
absolutely.
Okay.
So how we enforce the master plan is through zoning. It's been a very long time since we've updated our zoning. We've gone through a couple master plan updates since then. That was a lot of the impetus of doing that project, so that it can align with the master plan better.
Okay. Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you,
Through the
Jane.
chair, when we do the zoning, are we going to have some public meetings
Yeah, we have to.
okay.
Absolutely.
I definitely want the public and
Yep.
some
The
maybe
planning
one for,
commissions.
maybe for businesses alone, because
Right. Yeah, we put into the RFP some community engagement activities outside of just the standard public hearings.
I want them to be heard.
Through the chair?
Yes, ma'am.
James, the water main replacements, those are lead, right?
No.
No?
No, this is specifically targeting water mains. This is so instead of using the standard water sewer fund to do water main replacement, we're going to take that capital and use that for lead line replacement. And then we're going to double the amount of water main for the next 2 years that we've been doing.
Okay. Does this coincide with the pressure relief valves?
To a point. They're both designed to hopefully limit the amount of water breaks in the city.
Right, okay.
The pressure relief valves will basically kick on to try and eliminate those big pressure spikes that we've been seeing that have been causing havoc in the system.
Okay.
Anything further from council? Go ahead, sir.
Good evening, Richard Kudrak. You didn't mention the wading pool at Pond Park. Is it appropriate for me to talk about it right now? Because it was on the agenda for the ARPA funds.
What's,
$40,000 to take out the swimming pool at the community center, $60,000 to take out the wading pool at Pond Park? You didn't mention those. Was I reading something different?
Those were allocated in phase one. They're not being allocated tonight.
Okay, but I can still talk about them, right? No?
say your piece, sir. What is it you want?
Well, I was just shocked at $60,000 to take out a wading pool. And I sent you an email, and the city manager said you got a lot of rebar, reinforced concrete, which I'm shocked. But anyway, I'm talking to some people in the audience before the meeting, and they says, well, you got to take that pool out because you got to put a splash pad in there. Well, I'm not familiar with a splash pad, and the silly thing to me is that if you're going to put in a splash pad, why would you spend $60,000 to take out a wading pool first? Just put the splash pad somewhere else. Thank you.
Anything further from the audience? Clerk, call the roll.
Councilpersons Higgins,
Yes.
Dupre,
Yes.
Kelsey,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Salcido.
Yes.
And Mayor Carnes.
Yes. Okay. Next item has a cover letter from our city manager also, Mr. Krazan. The last time the part-time wage scale was adjusted was March 1, 2020. As we might recall, many things have changed since that time, specifically in the labor market. The city has had a near impossible time trying to attract candidates for part-time positions, and we need to make an adjustment to the wage scale to increase attractiveness. There are currently 27 part-time employees with the city and 3 vacant part-time positions. It is hoped that the increase in starting wages will help the city, make the city more attractive to candidates. It's been a very long time since we have increased our meeting videographer's rate, and it is suggested we increase this from $35 to $50 an hour. We also have received a request at our contracted labor attorney firm to increase the billing rate from $135 to $150 per hour. Another factor in raising some of the wages is that the state's minimum wage is slated to increase. Depending on exactly what happens with an ongoing court case, the state of Michigan, the Michigan minimum wage is likely to increase to $12 per hour early next year. A table attached to this letter and resolution shows the new wage scale that is requested to be approved. It also shows the current wages for the various steps. Lastly, I note that this scale shortens the length of time for part-time employees to hit their max, 2 years down from 3. So, for instance, administrative clerk, which is $12.50 at time of hire, would move to 14, which is not tremendous. Building supervisor from $12.50 to $13.50. And most of these part-time wages are $12.50, $13, $12.50, which is, and then $11.50 even. It is not a tremendous amount of money. Be it resolved that mayor and city council hereby approve the proposed adjustments to the part-time wage scale and direct the Human Resources Department to implement the new scale effective October 1, 2022.
So moved.
I'll move for discussion or second for discussion.
Okay, discussion? Go ahead, sir.
We still would have at least a couple of people at 13, 14, but especially the 13 for the cashier. Why would I come to the city and work for 13 when I can work at McDonald's for 16? That's who we're competing against, whether we like it or whether we don't. 13 is not gonna get anybody in the door anymore. Even a teenager isn't coming here anymore for $13 an hour. And the 14 is the same, you're a supervisor. You only want to give them $14 an hour. And again, I can work at McDonald's, I can flip burgers. I don't have to have any kind of responsibilities. I walk out the door when I'm done. And I'd make more money than the supervisor at the city. I think that's something we have to think about.
Okay. Further discussion?
Through the chair, Your Honor. I know the part-time wage scale adjustment. How does our labor attorney fit into this equation? Is he not considered a full-time or part-time employee? He's a contracted lawyer.
Right.
So why would he be in this group?
And we can separate that, but it seemed like an appropriate time since we're dealing with part-time wages. We had received a request to increase their billing. We've got the part-time videographer, so just kind of...
I see him in there,
Just
too.
trying to kind of make everything flow at once.
Oh, I believe most of our labor contracts are done through the year 2024. I don't know if we have a real need for our attorney at this time to increase his scale. That's my opinion. That's why I would like to see them separated. But I'm all in favor of the part-time wage scale for the other workers, but not the lawyer at this time. Thank you.
Okay. Further discussion?
Yeah, through the chair, if I may. I'll make it short. I agree with Councilman Higgins, and that's it.
Okay.
Through the chair?
Yes, ma'am.
James, the building supervisor, where is that exactly?
Kennedy Memorial Building. So they're there during events, making sure
Gotcha.
that nothing too crazy goes
Yeah, thank you.
down.
I wasn't sure.
Anything further? Clerk, call the roll.
Councilpersons Dupre,
Yes.
Higgins,
No.
Kelsey,
No.
Ross,
Yes.
Salcido,
Because of the lawyer in here, I'm going to say no.
and Mayor Carnes.
Yes.
Passed.
Okay. Where are we at? Lincoln Park, I realize. Whereas Public Act 48 of 2002 allows for access to and ongoing usage of public rights-of-way, including public roadways, highways, streets, alleys, easements, in a municipality for a telecommunication system. And whereas the City of Lincoln Park has approved a request on June 4, 2014 from Fiber Technologies Networks LLC for an ongoing use of public ways by telecommunications provider as required under the Right-of-Way Oversight Act 2002, Public Act 48, in parentheses, Metro Act, and whereas Crown Castle Fiber LLC, formerly known as, all right, Fiber Technologies Networks LLC, parentheses, Crown Castle, has requested a modification to the original application under Section 2.1.1 of the Metro Act. Now therefore be resolved that the mayor and city clerk are hereby authorized to execute the necessary documents approving the modifications to the right-of-way request from Crown Castle Fiber LLC, formerly known as Fiber Technology Networks LLC, 2000 Corporate Drive, Cannonsburg, PA 15317.
So move.
Support.
Discussion?
Question to the chair, and I don't know who's got the answer to this, but it says something about aerial. Are these like telephone poles I see that Verizon's put up? No. Okay, that's what I was asking.
Underground fiber
Okay.
optic network.
All right, I just noticed the word aerial. All right, I'm all set. Thank you.
All right, anything further? Clerk, call the roll.
Councilpersons Higgins,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Dupre,
Yes.
Kelsey,
Yes.
Salcido,
Yes.
and Mayor Carnes.
Yes. Resolved that the mayor and council hereby authorize the use of Memorial Park for the Zombie Apocalypse event sponsored by the City of Lincoln Park. The family event will be held October 8, 2022, from 12 p.m. until 11 p.m. at the Lincoln Park Bandshell and Memorial Park. Further be it resolved that the event shall comply with Ordinance 666.04A2 noise.
So move.
Support.
Discussion?
Through the chair,
Yes, ma'am.
just so that everyone is aware, is the police department's cost recovery zero?
Yes.
Thank you.
Appears to be zero. Anything further? Clerk, call the roll.
Councilpersons Higgins,
Yes.
Dupre,
Yes.
Kelsey,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Salcido.
Yes.
And Mayor Carnes.
Yes. Resolved that special event permit number 11 be approved for the Skate Company Skating Club to hold an Halloween trunk or trick and open skate in the parking lot of the Lincoln Park Community Center, 3525 Dix, October 15, 2022, from 4 p.m. until 6 p.m.
So move.
Support.
Discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Councilperson Salcido.
Yes.
Ross.
Yes.
Dupre.
Yes.
Higgins.
Yes.
Kelsey.
Yes.
And Mayor Carnes.
Yes. With the accounts and claims payable, the payment to DTE Energy has been, check has been released due to due date issues. Resolved that the accounts and claims payable for those items greater than $25,000 be approved as follows. DTE Energy, electric, gas, August 2022, $76,331.18. DUWA, September 2022 excess flow charges, July 2022 sewage user fee, $294,311.49. Huntington National Bank semi-annual bond charge, interest obligation bond series 2010, $36,290.64. McKenna Associates, August 2022 building department services / permits, $57,752.63. RJ&J Enterprises, emergency water main breaks, $56,641.
I'll move.
Support.
Discussion? Clerk call the roll.
Councilpersons Ross?
Yes.
Higgins?
Yes.
Dupre?
Yes.
Kelsey?
Yes.
Salcido?
Yes.
And Mayor Carnes.
Yes. Reached the time for our city manager's report. Mr. Krazan?
Yeah, just a few quick items tonight. I just want to let everybody know that as part of our project to update the website, we have put out a survey to try and gauge people's usage of the website, what they come on for, all of that. So we've got the website out on our website. It's on Facebook. We're going to put it in the newsletter. So it's an online survey right now. We can have hard copies available in City Hall as well. So we had a good weekend with it. We got about 25 responses after getting it out kind of late Friday. So that was good news. But we're hoping to get as many responses as we can to try and help drive that project. Quick note. Some people may have seen in the News Herald, we did get some information out on the service line Warranties of America. Just so everybody out there does know, this was a legit mailing. The company has been authorized use of our logo. It's a pretty good company. We know there are various homeowners insurance programs that do offer this kind of protection, but some people don't have it. So it is something that's out there and legit. Lastly, tonight, you guys noticed that we, in the ARPA allocation, we did allocate $5 million for water mains. This is part of what we're hoping to become a much more aggressive approach to tackling our water system and updating it. We've been working pretty hard behind the scenes to really start putting some information together. We are looking to potentially do a study session to really bring you what we've been working on, what the plan is, and where we're going to go. We're looking to do that in October, so just make sure you guys have your calendars marked for what should be the second meeting in October to try and do a study session. So with that, I mean, that's what I have for everybody tonight. I'm happy to take any questions.
Through the chair, Your Honor.
Go ahead, sir.
Two quick things, James. In regards to the insurance for the water mains, if you have a lead pipe connection to your front main, is that covered, or does the city have to cover that cost if it breaks?
If there happens to be an issue with the lead pipe, the city would be responsible.
Okay, next question. Thank you.
That's based on the updates to the Safe Drinking Water Act.
Thank you very much. That next question, on September 12th, I sent emails to you and Mr. Myers, and also on September 15th, the council and everybody, in regards to 807 Highland. Do we have an update on 807 Highland? It's been over a year, there's still a tarp on the roof, and the backyard's a mess. Can I get an answer tonight, please?
I'm looking to John Myers, who's coming up right now, who can give you the best information.
Thank you.
As of last Tuesday, a week ago, tomorrow we will have submitted the third ticket to this address over the last 5 months. This third ticket is significant in the process because the first two become civil, the third one becomes a misdemeanor.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. I will relay that to the resident. Thank you. That's all I have, Your Honor. Thank you.
Anything else for
Through the chair?
City manager? Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Any updates on a water pressure test in the Hoare School area behind the new car wash?
I think they were, I feel like I said this last time, I think they were still analyzing results from that. Because they're also looking at a couple other issues in the area as far as water pressure, trying to get more pressure to Meyer. but last I knew, they didn't find anything abnormal, but they're still looking through.
Okay, and I just know that there's been a couple of residents that come to me, and I would like to be able,
Yeah. And I also reached out to a resident in the neighborhood to try and find out if they've been having any issues, and he reported, he's like right in between, right
Yeah.
in the middle of that line, and he said he hasn't had any issues.
actually, I've had, somebody said that now that they're not giving the free ones away anymore, that it's calmed down. So maybe that was the
could be.
issue, I don't know.
Who's doing the study?
It's Hennessy, it's Steve, our S1 license holder.
So if possible, if we could have Steve at the next meeting,
Yep.
just to put this to bed. Anything else, sir?
Okay. Also, I asked you earlier in the office today, and I'm just bringing it up so that the residents at home can hear that we are talking about it, because we've all heard about the rat problems that are some places in town. And now we know one of our surrounding cities is sending out information, and I asked the city manager if he could please check into that. And I don't know if I probably haven't had time to do it yet because I just did that today. I'm just letting people know that we have asked you to do that. That's,
Yep. I will say, I did text with a Wyandotte resident, and he said he hasn't gotten anything yet, so
okay.
I've got him on the lookout.
All right, thank you.
Through the chair,
Yes, ma'am.
I would like to also bring up a sensitive issue with the residents is GFL, and I would like the residents to know that that's being worked on, and James, you're the lead on that. Thank you.
Hearing nothing more from council, we'll move on to a department head report for his inaugural. Chief Prinz.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. First, I'd like to go through some run totals for the last 3 months. Total calls for services 2236. EMS calls responded to is 1996. Other aid calls that we were unable to respond was 372. We had 58 fire calls, 25 building structure fires, 10 vehicle fires, 14 rubbish or dumpster fires, and 9 mutual aid fires. We had 85 hazards with wires downs, gas leaks, and carbon monoxides. We had 102 false alarms. And mutual aid responses for the year to date, we've given aid to other communities 27 times, and we received aid from our mutual aid partners 174 times. There have been no civilian or fire-related injuries or deaths in this quarter. The Fire Code Enforcement Team has 3 members performing fire life safety inspections, ensuring all businesses of the city of Lincoln Park are safe for its citizens, patrons, and employees. The FSET Code Enforcement Team year-to-date totals 537 inspections, 58 certificates of occupancy, investigated 12 complaints, and we inspected over 2.4 million square feet of property in the city of Lincoln Park. All FSET members will be attending the Michigan Fire Inspector Society Conference at the end of the month. This conference is beneficial for maintaining State of Michigan Fire Inspector license and NFPA Inspector 1 and 2 and Plans Examiner. Department training. Each month, every person on the department is required to complete training to acquire continuing education credits to keep their medical licensure current with the State of Michigan. The following are some of the training classes that have been completed: anaphylaxis, stroke, pediatric respiratory emergencies, hypothermic patients, advanced cardiac life support, and emergency vehicle driving requirements. We had a joint training exercise with Ecorse Fire Department at the DPS yard in June. This training exercise was hosted and taught by our members from our department on vehicle extrication. The department has recertified in FEMA ICS 200 and FEMA ICS 700 as of this month. The members who are on specialty teams train monthly with their respective teams. Currently, we have 3 members on hazmat team and 3 members on the arson investigation unit. Operations, we were awarded an Assistance to Firefighters Grant, AFG, for 12 new self-contained breathing apparatus last year. They were delivered in May, and we began to train and fit test them to put in service in October. We are currently waiting on another AFG to purchase 8 more SCBAs. This grant is with Allen Park. In August, we were awarded another regional AFG grant for turnout gear, boots, helmet, gloves, and ANSI safety vests. 5 communities downriver were part of this $419,000 grant. This grant will provide the firefighters with much-needed gear for firefighting and car accidents. We've hired 2 firefighters this past month, firefighter Avery Harris and firefighter Samantha Poyle. Firefighter Avery is currently working on shift and should be full manpower in the coming weeks. Firefighter Poyle is currently enrolled at Wayne County Community College Downriver Mipsey campus. She's taken Firefighter Academy and will be finished in February of 2023. This week, we start going into the elementary schools to do fire safety talks. It has been 3 years since we've been in the schools. Fire Safety Month is in October, and this year's message is Fire Won't Wait, Plan Your Escape. The fire department will be hosting an open house. The date is October 9th from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. I put a couple of goals for a 1-year, 3-year, and 5-year. My first year, I want to hire 4 additional firefighters to get the department to full strength. We haven't been to full strength in over 8 years. Send 4 personnel to fire inspector certification. Replace the cement on the front of the apparatus doors on the apron on the Fort Park side, and transition from mobilized to BS&A for fire inspection reports. A 3-year goal would be to upgrade the state of Michigan license from first response ALS to transporting ALS. Acquire 1 to 2 transporting ambulances. Have a cost recovery ordinance for the fire department on car accidents and structure fires. And then set up a billing process for health insurance, Medicaid, and Medicare to recover funds when we do transport patients to the hospital. A 5-year goal would be to purchase a new fire engine and also explore consolidation with mutual aid fire departments to create a fire authority. Are there any questions?
Now, is your additional role as emergency manager,
Yes.
you're saying that you had recently attended training for that?
Yes, I did. I attended a ICS 300. It's a 3-day class in Canton, and I am going through that process, and I hope to be done by June of next year.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you, Chief.
Through the chair, Your Honor?
Yes, go ahead.
2 questions, there are 2 comments and a question. First off, thanks for the nice report. I'm glad you're going back to the schools. But on the other 8 calls, unable to respond, 372, who responds to those if you don't?
So, some of those, the private ambulance company goes to those, and other surrounding departments with the 174.
All right, thank you.
Either we're tied up or
I got you.
are not able to respond.
I was hoping someone would respond, so thank you.
Yes.
Through the chair.
Go ahead, ma'am.
Chief, I just want to volunteer my services for open house.
Sure.
Okay.
Everybody's invited.
Through the chair.
Yes, sir.
I just want to say that I know several people who have had use of your services, I'll put it that way.
Yes.
And I have never once heard anybody say bad about our guys, and they do a wonderful job, and I want to say thank you to all of them.
Thank you very much. I will pass that on.
Through the chair, if I may.
Yes, sir, go ahead.
I was one of those members that had the
Yeah.
service.
I've been to your house.
The chief, yeah. And I'm here. Maybe somebody didn't want so good service, but I'm here. I'm still here. Just a comment, and I know that the chiefs before you were always talking about trying to get a recovery for the car crashes and for the house fires.
Yes.
And that never panned out for whatever reason. And each chief worked on it.
Yep.
Because I used to go to the Public Service Commission and they'd ask them that question. Good luck if you can do it. For some reason, it was always a stumbling point. I
So,
don't know.
everybody pay, when they have car insurance or house insurance, there's a fee already in there that's dedicated for police and fire cost recovery. It's $500. And if we're on, and it's even more for semi-trucks on 75. Back in May, our guys were up on the freeway for over 2.5 hours when two semis collided, and they shut down the freeway. And we were up there that whole time for that. And it's manpower, the cost of the truck, the equipment, fuel. We should be able to recover some of that cost. I'm not saying to bill the citizens.
Right.
It's just take it from their insurance.
Thank you very much. And again, thank you for me being here.
Anything?
A little warm.
Thank you.
Anything
Anything
else
else?
for the chief?
Just thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Very good.
And at this point, we'll open it up for citizen communications.
Sue Sargent, Downriver Sunday Times. I urge you to touch base with Dearborn about how they are aggressively approaching their RAP program. Mayor Abdullah Hammoud has outlined a multi-pronged strategy that he plans to address. The main point is eliminating the food source, especially around restaurants, and what he is going to institute is at least twice a month power washing the dumpsters that serve the restaurants. Eliminating the food source is going to be the primary concern. From there, he has a unique approach, taking feral cats, have them sterilized, and release them in very specific neighborhoods to eat rats. It's been successful in Chicago and New York City, and they are studying it. They haven't started it yet, but they are seriously considering it. As you know, Dearborn takes in cats, and they have dozens of them in their adoption facility. But like I said, it's in the study phase. Another thing they're looking at is live traps in outdoor eating areas, with the idea that it's better to live trap them than to have them running under your tables outside. Think of Wagner Park, as one of the places where they have a lot of outdoor eating. And the final thing was rodenticide put into the burrows so that it wouldn't affect other wildlife, like the squirrels. They talked about dry ice, but legally, governments in Michigan, like cities, cannot buy dry ice and put them in burrows. Private residents can do it, but the mayor didn't go so far out as to encourage residents to do that. But that is a solution that an individual homeowner could do. Maybe it's kind of a gray area. Also, I'd like to address one more thing. I come to as many city council meetings as my schedule permits, and I write a lot of articles about your business, your city initiatives. When you go to the News Herald to publish something, we have an online website just like them, and the news services pick up our stories just like they pick up the News Herald. So when you send something to Jim Kashuba or Jason Alley, please send me those as well, because I'm invested in Lincoln Park. I've been covering it for years, longer than you've been here. But I'd appreciate it, instead of snubbing me and just sending it to Kashuba, if you'd send it to me as well, okay? I think I try very hard to cover your city and do a good job, okay? Thank you, Mr. Krzan.
So a couple things, but I'll touch on what Sue said about the feral cats. There's a saying, if you've ever been to Rome, you'll see a lot of feral cats in some of the ruins there, and they say in Rome has no rats because of all the cats. But anyways, I just want to remind you about the farmers market every Sunday. The produce is out in full force right now, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Mellows Park, just on the east side of 4th Street, 1 block north of Southfield Road. 11 to 3, we go to the end of October. And the Ghost Walk is coming up October 1st, and you can reserve your ticket on Eventbrite. Thank you.
Good evening, City Council. How are you?
Hey, I just wanted to give you an update on the Ford Park. Appreciate all the support.
I need you to-
What's that?
There could be new people. I need you to introduce yourself.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I'm so used to everybody knowing me. I'm Darren Burns, pastor of Downriver Christian Center Church in Lincoln Park here. And just wanted to give an update on the Ford Park project that we've taken on. As you know, we've been renovating it, but I do want to give a shout out to Mr. Dave Cruz over the Little League. After many, many years, it's been kind of desolate, they hosted their first T-ball game last Thursday on the park field. So that's the first time it's been used in many years. So it is effective. We're not done with all the work we're doing there, but we're continuing on. So I want to give you that update. I thought that was great news. It was great to see the kids out there. We will provide all of you photos because we hired a photographer just for that incident because it was a great part of, I think, Lincoln Park history. And I appreciate all your support. Thank you.
I think that's all part of that, so I know what you're saying.
Thank you.
Okay. Then, I see no one else approaching, so we will move on to more reports of the mayor and council. Council President Salcido.
Thank you, Mayor. Just two quick items. First off, congratulations, Noah Anderson, on becoming a new Lincoln Park police officer. Hope you have a long career here. The other thing, I missed the last council meeting. I have not been ill since December of 2019, and somehow I caught COVID. And I'm very humbled that I survived. Not that I was really bad, but we all have lost friends or family to COVID. So I'm very humbled. I'm glad to be here. I survived, but COVID is still real, so really, be on alert still. So that's all I have, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Councilman Higgins.
Thank you, Your Honor. Maureen's not here tonight, so I will tell you, the last concert of the night was last Thursday. It was a wonderful thing, a beautiful night. The band was great. We had this guy who was kind of a comedian singing at the same time, but he did okay. And no, seriously, the whole season was spectacular. And we announced that the Journey cover band won the contest for the Black Box, so they will be the opening band next year. And congratulations to them. I also like to comment on our farmers market, although we've already talked about it a little bit. This weekend was spectacular. A lot of people there. They did free corn, free donuts. Donuts are great, And it just was a spectacular weekend. And I want to thank the farmers market for all that they're doing. And that's all I really have tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Councilwoman Ross.
Thank you, Your Honor. I won't spend too much time on this because I know our curator was here talking about the October 1st centennial celebration, but I do have a couple flyers, and the reservation form is on the back for if anyone here would like one. Okay. Just a quick reminder, the Wayne County Household Hazardous Waste Collection is October 15th from 8 to 1 at the Wayne County Community College. Just another quick reminder that we are participating with Simple Recycling. You can call them and pick up and have them pick up. And you should have gotten your happenings, the fall happenings was delivered. And if you would just kind of look through it, there's a lot of information from our departments, a lot of very nice things happening. It's hard to even think that Breakfast with Santa is around the corner. But that information is in there. And of course, the Lincoln Park Fire Department open house, that's in here too. When I saw that, I was pretty excited. I know the kids love that one. And then, of course, the Nixle information is in here. And that's it, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay, ma'am. Councilwoman Dupre.
I don't have a lot tonight either. I'm trying to get used to the change of the season and summer being over, so that's sad to me. But And I didn't see many of the concerts, but I will miss having the chance to say no to going. But with that, I will say good night and God bless.
Thank you, ma'am. Councilman Kelsey.
Just a few things. The BV Goodell VFW Post 552 is having a steak and chicken cookout Saturday, October the 8th from 4 to 7 p.m. They're in with the American Legion across Southfield there. The dinner includes your choice of New York strip steak or chicken breast, baked potato, vegetable, salad, roll, dessert, and coffee or tea for $12. I think that'd be kind of a nice night out or cheap night out anyways. Other two issues I got is, and we talked about this at council before, is that, I am even and seeing more homeless people throughout the city. I don't know what's going on or how it's being addressed, and I have not called the police department, and I will, but I've seen 6 or 7 in this day myself. One was sleeping by the Memorial Park underneath the shelter, but that's my fault for not calling. I figured sleeping right there, somebody's going to see him besides me, but I'll make the phone call from now on. I always see a lot of other people that are sitting in the J.C. Penney in the little, I call it the vegetables that are there because they get out of the way and they sleep there at night, and they usually try to cover up and that. But anyways, I've seen a lot more of them that are staying in the city. They're not leaving the city. I don't know how they fund themselves or how they get food, but it seems to be more and more of an issue. I don't know, either they need more help or we need to give them more services. I'm not sure which. The last item is just an issue for me that I have a problem with is we talk a lot about payment being for our workers similar to other cities. That's a big issue we talk about. We talk, no secret, we talk about in contract negotiations. And then we have one, and this is my personal opinion, for part-time, and we don't even pay them what you work at Burger King or what do you call it, Taco Bell, and I'm shocked. I'm really shocked, and that's my personal, against nobody, it's just me, because my position's always been to treat everybody as same as possible. And I think that, when you look at the other communities and the fact that what we're paying, and we just raised it, but we're not paying anywhere near what other communities or other, if you want to call it businesses who, quote, could potentially poach our people if we got them. I just think we need a real hard look at where we're going as a city. I mean, if we do for one, we do for all. And sometimes it's expensive. But if you're not going to be competitive for the entire departments we have, then you get what you get. And that's just my personal opinion, nothing against anybody. We all vote the way we feel, but that's the way I feel. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. I was there for the concert for a little while on Thursday, but the part that goes unspoken is that we wouldn't have a concert series if it wasn't for the band of brothers known as Zelnak. I think whether Ed, Dave, and Pat, they were been the mainstays with that, and there's several times it was their fundraising or their donations during the course of the year that allowed the concert series to continue. So thanks to, Marina's done a fabulous job of leading up to it, but during those lean years, you were there getting that, and so that's a thank you that should come from all of us, and we appreciate that. Councilwoman Dupre, we've got 2 days left of summer, and it's going to be 86 on Wednesday. With that, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll be sitting there in the sun.
Support.
Clerk, call the roll.
Councilperson Salcido?
Yes.
Kelsey?
Yes.
Dupre?
Yes.
Higgins?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
And Mayor Carnes?
Yes.
Next week it's one down.